Hey all, hope you're doing well. So for today's topic, I wanted to jump into NFPA 70B, which is the standard for electrical equipment maintenance. Now, this had been around a long time as a recommended practice, and back in January of 2023, the first edition of it came out as a standard, meaning it was enforceable now, instead of just being a recommended practice. And since then, there's been a lot of buzz in the industry around NFPA 70B, what it can do for you, how it can help with maintenance, how it can help with production in businesses, not stopping production based on equipment failure and things of that nature. There's some continuous monitoring, things like that are out there now that can help, get an overall view that may cut down on the amount of maintenance that needs to be done or better highlight maintenance when it's ready to be done. So there's a lot of stuff going on with NFPA 70B. And some of the questions I get around this, or one of the main ones I get around this, is when do the manufacturer's instructions take precedent over NFPA 70B or vice versa? So with that, I wanted to get into that a little bit today and give you a little more insight. So to do that, we're going to jump over into NFPA link, and I'm going to grab the most current version of NFPA 70B, which is the 2026. So as I mentioned, January 2023, the first standard edition of NFPA 70B came out. And since then, we've had another revision. So the 2026 standard is the one that's most new for NFPA 70B. And this is what we're going to take a look at today. So jumping into this, we're going to jump into Chapter 1, which is the administration chapter. But I wanted to jump down here into what we are actually doing with NFPA 70B. So of course we've got the scope and purpose in here. If you don't know the purpose, the purpose is to provide practical safeguarding persons, property, and processes from the risk associated with failure, breakdown, or malfunction, and also a means to establish a condition of maintenance of electrical equipment for systems, safety, and reliability. So that component there, that condition of maintenance, ties back into NFPA 70E, which requires you to look at the condition of maintenance when you're assessing risks. So I have another video that's out there from a while back if you want to look at it on our channel around NFPA 70E and NFPA 70B and how they work together. You really can't have one without the other. But what I wanted to go into today is more the application down here. So it says that this standard applies to maintenance for electrical, electronic, and communication systems and equipment. And here's the key part about our discussion today. And it is not intended to duplicate or supersede instructions provided by manufacturers. So the reality is, if a manufacturer for a piece of equipment gives definitive instructions on how it needs to be maintained, that takes precedence over what NFPA 70B would say about it. So when you look at things like intervals, maybe NFPA 70B says that the interval is every 12 months that it needs to be based on all the criteria that we've looked at. The manufacturer may say that the interval needs to be at least or no more than every 6 months. So in that case, we've got an issue with the interval. Process-wise, there might be something there. But there's a lot of scenarios where manufacturer's equipment maybe doesn't give any information around maintenance or doesn't give as much information. So there's going to be a lot of application where we're going to look at the manufacturer's requirements around maintenance and make sure we do those and build those into our electrical maintenance program. But we're also going to look at the other areas that NFPA 70B addresses that may not be mentioned from the manufacturer. So one of those areas may be like torquing considerations. Maybe there's a torquing requirement from NFPA 70B and the manufacturer's instructions doesn't mention torquing at all. So that's where you might see some, where we're using both manufacturer's instructions and NFPA 70B in order to build our maintenance plan and put in our electrical maintenance program for this particular piece of equipment. So when you ask the question, what takes precedence, or what wins, based on my video title here, it depends. So if there is manufacturer specific stated maintenance instructions, the manufacturer stuff takes precedent. If there's not, anything, then we're going to go off what NFPA 70B says. And then we might have a hybrid depending on what we've got. But I also wanted to jump into this, jumping over into our AI assistant here. So Cassie in this AI, or within Link, I should say. So this is an assistant. Again, you take it as an assistant. Everything isn't going to be technically 100% accurate. I think you've all probably experienced AI at this point with some of the other platforms that are out there, and it's not always 100% accurate. You have to do the due diligence of vetting it. But this one, I wanted to take a look at this, and I've pre-prompted a question instead of typing it all out here and spending more time. So I'm just going to copy and paste this over from the other screen here. And what I'm asking it is, what's an example of a piece of equipment where manufacturer gives direction on how it needs to be maintained, and NFPA 70B would in turn not apply? And then give me an example of specific maintenance requirement. So with that, let's see what Cassie has to say about that. So if we jump over here, we've got, so the top section is what we've already talked about. NFPA 70B states that electrical equipment must be maintained in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions, and it's not intended to duplicate or supersede those instructions. So we've already talked about that. And I'm going to slide this. Maybe I can't slide it here. Hopefully I'm not covering that up. Looks like I'm good. I'm making sure my video is not covering up that. I know sometimes it can cover the screen. So going further into that, here's a specific example they gave. Many variable frequency drives are shipped with manufacturer maintenance requirements, such as blowing out dust from ventilation channels with clean, dry air every 6 months, checking for firmware updates annually, retorquing terminal connections per supplied torque specs after 100 hours of initial operation. So with that, we see some parameters here where there's going to be some specifics from the manufacturer in this case that tell you exactly what you need to do. Now, of course, that's going to depend on the manufacturer. Everybody's going to be different. Some may provide more information, some may provide less, some may provide none at all. But the thing I want you to get out of this video is to fully understand that you need to look at what the manufacturer offers first of all, and if they tell you how to maintain the piece of equipment, that's what needs to be done. Now, if they don't address areas for the equipment, again, torquing as an example, you can use NFPA 70B for that portion of the maintenance. But if the manufacturer says something specific to a task that's being done for maintenance, that's what you need to follow. And then aside from that, you can jump over into NFPA 70B and use that. And when we build our electrical maintenance program in accordance with NFPA 70B, those manufacturer requirements should be pulled in. Just because the electrical maintenance program is a requirement of NFPA 70B doesn't mean that should only be NFPA 70B, and then your manufacturing stuff should maybe exist on another document or manuals that you need to look at or something like that. We want to make this as easy as possible for our technicians. So go ahead when you're building your electrical maintenance program, pull in that criteria from the manufacturer. Of course, document it so you know where it came from and why we're utilizing it and why we're using those intervals instead of maybe what's suggested in NFPA 70B. But make sure it's a nice fluid electrical maintenance program for that piece of equipment that you can do what the manufacturer says you need to do, and then you can do anything additional that would make sense based on what the requirements for NFPA 70B are. So I hope that helps you get a little more understanding around how that works between manufacturer's instructions and NFPA 70B. Drop a question in the chat if you have any, and I will answer that as quickly as I can. I appreciate it. Remember, everybody, stay current and stay safe. Take care, everyone.